Hello everyone, welcome to Outflix. Today we're talking about To Wong Fu, Thanks for Everything, Julie Newmar from 1995. The story follows three drag queens who, on their way to a national pageant, become stranded in a small, conservative Midwestern town. The movie blends flamboyant humor with heartfelt drama, exploring themes of friendship, tolerance, and transformation. Seasoned New York drag queens Vita Boheme, Patrick Swayze, and Noxeema Jackson Wesley Snipes win the Drag Queen of the Year contest. The grand prize is a trip to Hollywood for the national pageant. Moved by the losing drag princess Kai Rodriguez's John Leguizamo desperation, the compassionate Vita convinces a reluctant Noxeema to take her under their wing. They cash in their plane tickets and buy a vintage Cadillac convertible for a cross-country road trip, with the goal of mentoring Kai into a true queen. While driving through a remote area, they have a tense run-in with a bigoted, sexist highway patrolman, Sheriff Dollard. After Vita knocks him unconscious in self-defense, they flee, only for their car to break down in the quiet, conservative town of Snydersville. Stuck for the weekend while the mechanic orders a part, the trio stays at the local inn run by the timid and abused Carol Ann Stockard Channing. The queens soon begin to sprinkle their magic on the town, giving makeovers, boosting spirits, and intervening in the townspeople's long-stagnant lives. Sheriff Dollard, recovering from the roadside incident, sets out to find the drag queens. When he arrives in Snydersville and threatens to expose them, the townspeople, including Carol Ann, who has found her courage, stand up for their new friends. One by one, they all defiantly claim to be drag queens themselves, forcing the humiliated sheriff to leave. After transforming Snydersville and empowering its residents, the queens bid a fond farewell and get back on the road. In Hollywood, Kai, now a fully realized and confident queen, wins the crown at the Drag Queen of America pageant, with the prize presented by the real Julie Newmar herself. Let's break this film down. The film subverts the fish out of water trope by showing the drag queens not as outsiders but as catalysts for change. They help the townspeople overcome their narrow-mindedness and prejudices, proving that humanity and kindness can bridge cultural divides. The three queens arrive in a small town weighed down by abuse, despair, and stifled dreams. By sharing their vibrant confidence and self-expression, they empower the locals, particularly the women, to find their own voices and happiness. While some aspects may be viewed differently through a modern lens, the film explores the nature of gender identity and performance. Vita, Noxeema, and Kai live as their authentic selves, using drag not just as a performance, but as a way of life which challenges the town's rigid social norms. The conversation where Noxeema explains the difference between a transvestite, a transsexual, and a drag queen offers a specific glimpse into how these identities were defined at the time. Despite its comedic and lighthearted tone, the movie touches on serious issues like domestic violence and homophobia. The scene where Vita stands up to Carol Ann's abusive husband and the final confrontation with Sheriff Dollard ground the story in real-world struggles, even within its fantastical, upbeat narrative. At a time when LGBTQ+ representation in mainstream media was rare, To Wong Fu was a box office success. It was one of the first major studio films to feature drag queens as lead characters and presented them in a positive, empathetic light, which has earned it a place as a cult classic within the LGBTQ+ community. Despite its celebratory tone, some modern critics point to the film's simplified take on real-world prejudice and its use of straight male actors in drag as problematic when compared to contemporary queer storytelling. However, many fans appreciate the movie for the joy and representation it offered at the time of its release, noting that it helped open doors for broader acceptance. I think Swayze gives one of his best performances in this film. His macho man, tough guy roles don't prevent him from shining as a more feminine or flamboyant character. He is the leader of our three drag queens and keeps them on the right path. I wish he had lived long enough to where we got a sequel to this movie. It would have been nice to see them play these characters again. If you made it to the end of the video, consider liking and subscribing. Follow me on Instagram and Letterboxd at the links in the description. Don't forget to comment below on what I should talk about next. Thank you for watching, and I hope to see you soon.